Hello, good evening and welcome to Business here on Joy News Prime with me, Beverly Broom. A look at our stories now. The Customs Monitoring Team at the Eastern Corridor has arrested a cargo with over 11,200 pieces of wax prints that were smuggled into the country. According to the division, the goods, which include other merchandise, declared just about 98 pieces of wax print in order to evade duties and other taxes. The taxes evaded amounted to about 1.3 million cedis. Dari Abdallah is the officer in charge of the Eastern Corridor Monitoring Team.
Prints were intercepted at the border post of Dabala in the Volta region when officials of the Customs Division of the Ghana Revenue Authority were on duty. The importer failed to pay the assigned duties on the products, which is estimated at about 1.3 million cedis. Meanwhile, on a separate operation, officers at the Japon post also intercepted 6,000 pieces of mobile phones which are yet to be evaluated. Dari Abdallah is the officer in charge, Eastern Corridor Monitoring Team.
11,000 full pieces imitation wax. We're talking around 1.3 million Ghana cedi without penalty. So if they're imposing 100%, that will be times 2.
Of taxes that was supposed to pay, exactly.
Yes. Normal taxes to 1.3 million Ghana cedis on this.
What about the mobile phones?
The mobile phones, we are yet to get a value because we wanted them to pick a sample so that we'll get the value. We don't have all the values unless we go to the sector.
Second in command for the Aplau border checkpoint, Emmanuel Parker, has been highlighting the need for more resources to officials along the border post, since many of such traders try to evade duties and use those areas.
This one, we were told they loaded elsewhere, and then the goods that were paid from the baggage were sent out and then added onto it. And then it makes it look as if Aflao cleared these things. But this is the problem we are having. We need logistics. We need men to combat because the borders are vast and they are porous. And when we close one side, another portion is opened. And before we get to know it's open, there would have been a lot of goods coming through. We do arrest rice, oil, and the like. And we have a number of informations that are, Togo is now decongesting their port. So a lot of vehicles are likely to come in, and we are trying our best.
The GRA is undertaking an evaluation to determine the penalties and duties to be paid on the mobile phones.
Now, commercial banks fear the proposed Eurobond haircuts could impact badly on their operations. Finance Minister Ken Oforiatta has announced up to 40% cut on Eurobond principal and about 5% on coupons. This follows a domestic debt exchange program which has hit the banks badly, resulting in some heavy losses for last year. John Iwa, Chief Executive of the Ghana Association of Banks, and has been speaking to Joy Business.
Talking about the West, we are not
very, very West.
Of course,
we saw in 2022.
What we are looking for, I think the market is very hungry for some closure.
Yeah.
And we need some level of closure where we know that a line has been drawn. There is no debt operations in the horizon. We all know that we are not done with the debt operations per se. The Eurobond is outstanding, the bilateral loans are also pending. We are hoping that, as the minister said, by the end of this year, we'll have a semblance of closure to all these. Then we will know that, the very worst case scenario is over. You should know that the banks have investment in Eurobonds as well. So whatever decision...
You're speaking about the Eurobond. The finance minister has done a proposal of initial up to 40%. Some will say that we thought the worst was over. Again, what could be the impact of this proposal on the banks? Or just like what the governor said, he believes that you have factored all these unforeseen expectation in your operations, and therefore the shocks wouldn't be like what we saw in 2000. So what could be the impact of this proposal on your operations?
Of course, a haircut in the region that the minister put out in that interview is deep. And as the governor said, I'm also sure that the banks may have taken a significant portion of their own assessment of what the potential haircut was going to be into their, as to whether in the bank's assessment that haircut that they have taken is anywhere closer to what the minister proposed is a question I cannot answer at the moment.
But some will say that if they go or settle on that 40%, the impact could be grave. Some
I think he said between 30 and 40.
Yeah,
but
it is.
I'm sure it is.
The shock absorbers have been built.
I'm sure it is the government ask at the table at the moment, and as negotiations go on to become clearer, where whatever haircut they agree is going to be. I cannot focus on that.
But you think that the impact would not be that grave, or you think that you want to negotiate for a better position to lessen the impact on your operations?
The Eurobond is an international issuance, and it's guided strictly by the prospectus that support that issuance. In that prospectus, it tells you in situations such as this, how negotiations are done. So at present, we are not directly at the table because the size of our investment does not kind of put us on the table. So we are monitoring very closely how the negotiations with the offshore takers go, and we'll see how that impacts our operations.
But I mean, per this current offer, would the impact be bad on your operations?
Of course, 30 to 40% on principal is very steep, except to say that the size of the investment is not to the level that we had in the domestic debt exchange.
So therefore, we could minimize the expected shocks on your operations, even though
any shock is a shock. When you are planning and you are not in control of the plan because there are other variables that you are not controlling. Of course, whatever comes may depart from what your expectations are, and to the extent that whatever comes perhaps may be higher than what you expected. It can be a shock.
Now, the business community is calling on the government to expedite talks with its external creditors in securing finance and assurance in order for the country to get the second tranche of the International Monetary Fund bailout package ahead of the Christmas season. They are worried any delay in the disbursement could have a major impact on the exchange rates during the festive season. Speaking to Joy Business, President of the Ghana Union of Traders Association, Dr. Joseph Obing said securing the fund on time will go a long way to ease the demand for the dollar during the festive season and consequently keep prices relatively stable.
It's very important that government do everything under its capacity to make sure that the second tranche come in time, especially when at this time we are going for the Christmas purchases. It means that import is going to go up and is going to also make the exchange rate, if it is not well managed by Bank of Ghana. We have this perennial problem where December, January, and then early February, we have the exchange rate going up. At this time round, we have to take the lessons of last year and manage the foreign exchange situation well so that we do not go back. That's my prayer, that we are able to manage. But I'm not also seeing excessive importation due to the effects of the reasons that I've already alluded. There are low turnovers, the depression of our capital and all that. I do not foresee that we'll do any excessive importation this time around. And then things like speculation should also be managed. Most times when there's a slight increase in the forest, we talk too much to the extent that it gets out of hands. These things does not work when there's too much noise around it. So we should be able to know how to manage speculation when there's the least increase in the dollar, so that we do not experience what happened during the previous year.
Meanwhile, the pressure on the Ghana cedi is expected to ease this week following the anticipated news of the $800 million cocoa syndication loan. This follows about 1.99% loss of the local currency last week, taking its year-to-date loss on the retail market to about 11.80%. Here's more.
Analysts believe the expected inflow of the first tranche of the cocoa syndication loan would soften the pressure on the local currency. Again, the 39 bi-weekly bulk oil distribution company's FX auctioning, slated for this week, will help slow demand and cushion the cedi. The Bank of Ghana has been intervening in both the spot market and the forward forex auctioning. For instance, it intervened in the market with $4.25 million, but that could not hold up the cedi as it registered a weekly loss. On the international currency markets, the US dollar has appreciated in recent months, helped by resilience in the US economic activity and safe haven demand due to the slowdown in China. Meanwhile, some market watchers and analysts still believe the local currency will end 2023 at 1160 pesos to the dollar.
Now, in a dire predicament, one of Ghana's leading oil palm company, Benso Oil Palm Plantation, is going through a tough time due to an impassable obstacle. The culprit, the deteriorating Kejebri-Benso Road. What was once an economic lifeline has now become a stifling nightmare. Samuel Kojobris delves deeper into the challenges faced by Bob and the community it serves.
Year after year, the government has looked on for the total deterioration of the Kejebri-Benso Road. This road, used to facilitate the quick transportation of semi-finished goods from the Benso Oil Palm Plantation, Bob, to their client in Tema. But today, the road has become a major headache to the company, almost grounding their operations.
For the past 2 weeks, we've not sent even a drop of CPO to our refinery in Tema. We had about 12 tankers parked here in our yard as we speak, just waiting for an improvement in the condition of the road so we can send them. We tried one this afternoon, and the results has not been quite encouraging.
100 meters distance could take about 3 minutes with trucks wobbling on the deteriorated road. Bob's estate and plantation manager, Kwesi Ba Ofori, spoke about the dire consequences of the bad road on the company.
So once the road is in this condition, we are not able to send our crude palm oil to our refinery in Tema. And it gets to the point that our tanks have to be full and we cannot continue with production. We have to shut down production. And mind you, this plantation employs over 2,000 employees, and they are all accommodated on this site. They all live in the plantation, in the estate. So the impact is quite dire. And we are talking about over thousands of farmers who also supply our mill. And once the mill is full of CPO, we will not be able to keep up with the production. And all these farmers will eventually be impacted.
Bob is not the only company feeling the pinch. Residents of the area also feel the pain of bumping gullies. Alfred has been driving on this road for 2 years. We met him repairing his broken down vehicle along the road.
This road doesn't help us at all. We suffer a lot on it. When you work for 3 days, you have to take everything you got to do maintenance. So are we progressing or retrogressing? This road is terrible. It is not helping us at all.
Alfred says vehicular breakdowns leave holes in his finances, with clients also refusing to pay more for transportation due to the current economic squeeze. The driving business is no longer lucrative.
Taxis, what 30 cities,
As soon as it rains, taxis take 30 cedis. Meanwhile, if the road was good, I'm not sure they would even charge 10 cedis. The residents here who don't have cash suffer. So imagine what will happen if there is someone who needs urgent medical attention. We plead with government to come and construct this road for us.
Several of the trucks which load Bob's semi-finished product to their client in Tema are grounded in the company for weeks because of the poor nature of the road. Driver Abdullahi Moro is frustrated.
Because of too much all the time. We spend too much time when we come here because of the poor nature of the road, and it often rains in this place too. If the company grader doesn't pull you from this place to Kejebro, for you to continue, you can't go. Even with that, we still suffer.
All the time, no.
To him, the situation is affecting the finances of the drivers.
A financial problem.
It is only when you are able to transport the products to Tema that you get your bonus. If you are not able to go, you can't get it. So it affects our finances.
The estate and plantation manager for the Benso Oil Palm Plantation, Kwesi Brown Ofori, says the nature of the road is having a telling impact on the operations and their contribution to the local economy.
I mean, the impact is impact on even the Ghana Stock Exchange. We are quite a big company. We are making a lot of impact in the lives of the communities within which we operate. Just last year, we bought palm fruits, to the tune of over 40 million Ghana cedis from farmers. This year, as of September, we've bought over 62 million Ghana cedis. Yes, that is the kind of amount of money we are pouring in the communities. And once our product is not able to go to its final destination, eventually, if we are not able to send it to its final destination, then we can not also continue buying from the farmers, and the farmers will eventually also suffer losses.
Residents and Bob are all calling on government to expedite road construction.
Our wish is that the government takes it up, and we know the government is challenged with a lot of roads. There are a lot of road networks that he has to do. He's doing his best, but we think that looking at the economic potential of this company in these districts, I think it will be good if they come into help.
For Joy News, I am Samuel Kojobrace, Benso, Western.
Now, the Minister of Tourism, Dr. Ibrahim Awal Mohammed, has called on corporate bodies to invest in the tourism sector to contribute to its development. According to him, this will help create more jobs for the youth and also propel the growth of the sector. He was speaking at the grand outdooring of the 20-year vision of Lakeside Marina Park.
As part of Earth's 20 years anniversary, Lakeside Estate outdoored the vision of Earth's Lakeside Marina Park. With a planned extension, the facility is expected to include a water-themed park, a Ferris wheel, and other recreational facilities. In an interview, Tourism Minister Dr. Ibrahim Awal Mohammed commended Lakeside Estate for their investment into the tourism sector and urged other corporate entities to emulate.
Lakeside's investment here is very welcome by government. We are very happy because tourism has become global, has become a mover in terms of revenues and in terms of jobs. So we want to commend Lakeside for their initiative, for their investment, and to tell them that government will support them to make their vision a reality. I want to urge other private sector businesses to take advantage of the travel economy and then invest in tourism and other areas. As I said, global tourism is supposed to grow by 5.7% every year for the next 10 years. But global GDP is growing about 3.7%. And 2 out of every 10 jobs in Ghana and most of Africa is created by the tourism, arts and cultural sector. So it's a worthy investment. I want to commend them for their initiative.
Marketing manager of Lakeside Estate, Isaac Ntiamo, explained the project and its intended contribution to the tourism sector.
And as we conduct our market research, we realize that we are the only recreational park in Accra that has a 12-acre lake. And what we see here today gives us an opportunity to expand into the promising future, where we can add on various entertainment and tourism activity at the park. So today, at this 20 years anniversary, we are envisaging or unveiling the 20 years vision for the next years ahead of us. We are expanding from a recreational park to a water theme park, not only in Ghana, but also in West Africa. We are going to have various zones. This is zone 1, where we have the lake, we have the golf course, we have the water slide, we have the children play area, we have the canopy walkway. The zone 2 is going to cover a water theme park, which we are starting with the pool. The pool is going to be ready by December 2023, and we are going to officially launch the water theme park.
Businesses in the tourism sector were also urged to improve their services to meet demands of tourists.
On that note, we end business tonight. For more business news, you can log on to myjoyonline.com/business. I am Beverly Broom. I leave you with international news.